Hi, I'm Rasta the Wiesler, und I am Mirko der Weimaraner. We are here on behalf of Foodworks and more. Today, we are going to show you how to make our favorite treat, pumpkin peanut butter dog treats. They are a tasty treat any time of the day. Let's get started, shall we? First, we'll blend our dry ingredients. In a mixing bowl, add 5 cups of whole wheat flour. I find that a stand mixer works best for this recipe because the dough can get a little tough. To the flour, add 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, half a teaspoon of ground ginger, and 1 teaspoon of salt. Stir together to combine. Now we can add the wet ingredients. To the mixing bowl, add 1 15-can ounce of pumpkin. Make sure it's pure pumpkin puree, not the pumpkin pie filling. Next, add 1/4 cup of peanut butter and 4 eggs and blend on a low speed. If the dough appears to be too firm, you can add a little water to it. Not too much though, because you still want it to be a stiff dough that you can roll. Now, let's roll out the dough. On a cutting board or your countertop, sprinkle a little flour down and spread it around evenly. Take half of the dough and form it into a disc. As you can see, it's a very firm dough. On your floured surface, roll the disc out until it's about 1/2 inch thick. In a small dish, place a few tablespoons of flour. We'll use this to keep the dough from sticking to the cookie cutter. I'm using a bone-shaped cutter. My boys like this one the best. You can use any cookie cutter you want. If you don't have a cookie cutter, you can simply cut them into shapes of your furry friend's choice. Begin by dipping your cookie cutter into the flour. You'll want to do this every 2 to 3 cookies, or as needed to prevent the dough from sticking to the cutter. As you cut out the shapes, place them on a parchment-lined cookie sheet. I tell you, these smell good enough to eat myself. Continue cutting out shapes, dipping the cookie cutter in flour periodically to prevent the dough from sticking. If the cookie does not come up with the cutter, don't worry, we'll just peel away the excess at a later time. Once you've cut out all you can, roll the remaining scraps together into another 1/2 inch sheet and continue cutting. Repeat this process with the other half of the dough. Once you've filled up a cookie sheet, it's time to bake them. One batch of this dough will give you about 4 dozen cookies, depending on how thick you roll them and how big your cutter is. Bake your canine cookies at 350 degrees for about 40 minutes. Allow them to cool for a few minutes and place them on a cooling rack. The cooling rack allows for air circulation and thus making your treats crunchier. If you left them on the cookie sheet, they may get a little soft and not be quite as crunchy. Now it's time for the final test. Let's see what Rasta and Mako think. I'd say they're a hit all right. Those were good, yeah, Rasta? I love them, and I could have eaten a whole dozen. Yeah, me too. If you like our video, please give it a thumbs up and let us know your comments. Our dad releases videos every Wednesday, so if there's something you'd like to see, let us know. Thanks from Foodworks and more.